You know, there's embarrassing and there's embarrassing, especially embarrassing before a national audience. For the benefit of the Democratic Party, the national public is not paying attention to this, and the mainstream media is not going to talk about it, but damn it if I'm not. The Democratic Party put a lawsuit on Trump, elements of the Trump campaign, WikiLeaks, Roger Stone, etc., saying these guys were engaged in a grand conspiracy to stop and embarrass Hillary Clinton for the election itself. That lawsuit has been going on for the past year. Recently, in that lawsuit, the Trump administration, after the Mueller report came out, the Trump administration, their lawyers, tried to get the Mueller report read into the record. The Trump administration was trying to use the Mueller report in defense of the Trump. Oh, I love this. Do you know what the DNC did? The DNC said, much of the Mueller report is hearsay, and we don't need that in the record. Welcome to the soapbox. I want to talk about this. This is dramatically embarrassing for the Democratic Party. Welcome to the soapbox. My name is Jamarl Thomas. This is the Progressive Soapbox. If you guys enjoy this content and you find yourself coming back to this channel often, please consider liking this video, sharing this video. We are trying to grow. Subscribe if you definitely find yourself coming back here often. And definitely, if you can, you can support through PayPal or Patreon. I always say YouTube is an untrustworthy actor. I know I say this as a broken record, but this content, in many respects, is brought to you by you, and I thank you for it. Democratic Party. How embarrassing. How embarrassing. I'm astonished that they can, with a straight face, argue some things. Just like in the last lawsuit, they were arguing that, look, we can lie in back rooms when we need to lie in back rooms. There's nothing to say that we can't do this under the law in that fraud lawsuit. This is almost as embarrassing, if not more so, depending on who you are. The Democratic Party said the President of the United States was a Russian plant. And in saying he was a Russian plant, TYT went so far as to say Vladimir Putin was telling him what to do. Now, they ignored all of this other evidence behind this, all of the things that he was doing around the world that was against Russian interests, pulling out of the ballistics treaty, going into Venezuela, pushing against Iran. One thing after the next, it was all ignored. Trump was working with Russia, and anything else that comes across that's not showing that, it's just kind of things that he's doing in this kind of three-dimensional chess. All that stuff was nonsense. Truth of the matter is, they got their investigation. Mueller comes back saying, I can't make any link between Trump and Russia. Sorry. And they immediately missed that point that they've been screeching about for 3 years and moved to obstruction. Obstruction of something that didn't take place. The DNC, while this was going on and while Mueller was doing his thing, pulled in a lawsuit on Trump administration, the campaign, and all of these various officials, saying that there was a grand conspiracy to hurt Hillary Clinton. And their fundraising and their lack thereof is some degree of evidence as to such. I call that trying to get elected. They call it hurting their candidate. At an offshoot location, the lawyer made his case. Yeah, he makes some really good points. The judge didn't fully understand that, and the judge was somewhat questioning of that. But I want to go further into it. So, look at this. The Mueller case comes out. Trump campaign cites Mueller report to fight DNC lawsuit. The Democratic Party went after the Trump campaign WikiLeaks, called them a grand conspiracy, and on another track, trying to depose the President of the United States, using this as a tip of the spear to do so. The report comes out. The thing that did the investigation, Mueller, all of his lawyers, the squeezing of people, the indicting people, the putting people in prison, all of his investigative might that was under Mueller's Mueller's fingertips. The report comes out. And the case that the DNC spawned, the case that they wanted, that they pushed for, they don't want to use the actual investigative results of the report in their lawsuit. Isn't that strange? The Trump administration, however, does. The Mueller report was supposedly the determining factor in whether or not Donald Trump was working with the Russians. That's what the Mueller report was supposed to find out. And it's telling that the Democratic Party, who spawned this lawsuit, does not want the Mueller report into record. It gets more interesting. The DNC, in their lawsuit, wants to keep the Mueller report out of record. Isn't that fascinating? How? With a straight face. The Trump administration is being investigated by Mueller. This could literally get the president impeached. Mueller comes back with his report. The president of the United States says, great, I want to now use this report in the other lawsuit that the Democratic Party spawned saying that I was working with the Russians. The Democratic Party who pushed for Mueller and pushed for that lawsuit and fought to protect Mueller all along the way now saying, we don't want to hear what Mueller has to say. And we don't want that into the judicial record. The problem that the Democratic Party and many of these people are having is that a lot of the stuff that they were saying and throwing about in the media and everything else was hearsay. A lot of the stuff that the media was saying was hearsay. There wasn't a legal basis for it, if that makes sense. And in a lawsuit, you need to be able to have a legal bar that you have to get over. So when the judge in the other lawsuit with the Russian company saying, you can't say that the Russian government was pushing these guys to do it, you don't have evidence of that, and chastise Barr and chastise Mueller for saying so, that's real. You think that was going to get reported? No. Wasn't going to get reported. And here we are again with the sad truth of the Democratic Party who spawned a lawsuit saying that all of these forces were availed against Hillary Clinton. And now in this lawsuit, to which when they spawned this, I said, be careful, they're going to push for discovery and you're going to have to give up that discovery, not just this kind of show trial. And what do you know? When there's a chance to get an investigative report that they push for, they don't want it. Why not? Why not? Trump wants it. Trump wants that report. So let's go into it. So right here. The DNC has named the Trump campaign of various former officials, WikiLeaks, Donald Trump, Jared Kushner, Roger Stone, and Russian government and military defendants in a lawsuit outlining an alleged conspiracy to use internal emails to embarrass the Democrats and undermine the then President Hillary Clinton. They're trying to find some level of legitimacy to explain why she just failed and lost to reality show hosts. This is embarrassing. I'm sorry, this is embarrassing. Just so we're clear. During the 2 hours of oral arguments over motions to dismiss, the judge noted that all agreed the court could take notice of the fact that the report was issued. He also understood that the DNC could argue that the report constitutes hearsay, an investigative report that they push for in the political space. The Mueller report. Saint Mueller has been demoted by the Democratic Party to now hearsay because it didn't give them the result that they wanted. That's amazing. That's amazing. That is absolutely amazing and embarrassing. And the mainstream media is not going to run with this. They're not going to run with this. This is embarrassing. I'm sorry. This is embarrassing. Yeah, I'm stepping on their graves because it's embarrassing. He also understood that the DNC could argue that the report constituted hearsay, but there are special exemptions in law for investigative reports. Of course there should be. Mueller had all of the resources of the federal government at his disposal when he did that report. And he worked on that report for years. And now the Democratic Party is saying that just constitutes hearsay. Just hearsay. Doesn't mean that I can't look at the Mueller report, also, the judge said, after having asked each of the defense attorneys whether or not he should consider the report in weighing the sufficiency of the claims leveled by the DNC. How can you not? How can you not? This is the definitive thing from the federal government standpoint on what took place in 2016. And the Democratic Party is now saying we don't need to talk about that. Trump is saying we do. That is telling in and of itself. And they're telling the judge that you shouldn't pay attention to this, and the Mueller report constitutes hearsay. The judge is like, seriously? You're saying that the report is hearsay? It's an investigative report into the 2016 election stuff. It's just hearsay, man. It's just hearsay, dog. You don't need to look into that Mueller report. She said the Mueller report made it very clear that there was a lack of evidence to prove the conspiracy between Russians and Americans, a central thread in the lawsuit. But that's Papadopoulos' attorney. The judge appeared curious about whether the hacked emails alleged stolen by the Russian military units and passed to others and leaked were actually published in view of the public before WikiLeaks. The DNC argued that they were not, and the DNC has to argue that. Everybody else in that case said nonsense. They were available. They were available on a public server. They just weren't announced, meaning WikiLeaks put them on their website. They just didn't announce that they were out to the media. They announced they put them on their website, and then later they sent out a tweet. Now the media is pretending that the tweet was the moment that it was put on their website. The tweet came after it was put on the website, and there were some sources that got a hold of that and started running with it. They immediately said that it was the Russians that they got their hands on it. Defendants rebuffed the characterization of the DNC. This is not secret communications about secret data, Roger Stone said. Robert C. Brussels said of how the information was passed to WikiLeaks. WikiLeaks attorney Joshua Drattel theatrically rebutted the DNC's argument by waving his glowing smartphone, saying that he had just pulled up the WordPress website on his phone in the courtroom, saying it was not a private access, meaning it was available for anybody to get their hands on it. Saying that when they sent the tweet is the exact same time as when they put the information up is somewhat disingenuous. It is very possible that they put the information on the website and sent the tweet. That's what I'm saying. The Democratic Party needs to believe that there was a back channel in order to make the lawsuit work. Everybody else is saying nonsense. They didn't allege conspiracy, Trump attorney Michael Alcarvin, his voice booming from the podium, claiming the DNC has not been able to answer their question about how the alleged conspiracy fulfills specific elements of the law. The silence is deafening. And not just the silence is deafening. If I am a judge and I'm sitting here already somewhat skeptical of your case, and you're arguing to me that the Mueller report should not be read into this, I have to be curious about why not. The judge has eyes and ears. The judge is a person. The judge was available in the last 3 years for everything that the Democratic Party had been saying about getting Mueller and the report and the investigation and protecting Mueller and ensuring that Mueller is not disturbed and ensuring that Trump doesn't fire Mueller from his job and all of this for these 3 years. And in the moment where they get their day in court to get Trump and take Trump to task and stone the task and browbeat all of these people that they say were responsible for Hillary Clinton losing the election as opposed to her just failing to reality shows, what do they say? The investigation that we call for, bitch for, push to protect. We don't want it. We don't want it. If I am a judge and you're looking at me in the face saying that, I am going to think less of you. Which means that their lawyer had to know that. And the lawyer thought that it mattered less that the judge thought less of them because reading the report in hurts their case. The only reason that they would argue against allowing the Mueller report in is if they believe that the Mueller report hurts their claim about a grand conspiracy, which, again, should tell you something in and of itself. This is embarrassing. This is embarrassing. I tweeted this to Aaron Matei and I was like, dude, you're going to love this. Google donated to CrowdStrike. Ta-da! Google donated to CrowdStrike. And you know what? That's the other thing. You know, there's all these questions about the Mueller report. The Democratic Party better be very careful. Mueller is going to get hit with a lot of questions about inconsistencies in his report, claiming some people are Russian assets when those guys end up being U.S. intelligence assets, the honeypots that was surrounding the Trump campaign, the spying that seemed to have taken place on the Trump campaign, using the Russia stuff as this kind of cover for it. There are inconsistencies in Mueller report that Mueller's going to have to answer for. Why couldn't he get his hands on the servers? Why couldn't you talk to Julian Assange? Why did you allow CrowdStrike, a private organization working in coordination with the DNC, to redact various information that you were getting your hands on? And that sounds like a conspiracy theory, but that is literally what took place. There are questions for Mueller. I've become more interested in what is going to be asked of Mueller in this. Okay. All right, guys. I'm going to end this here. This may be the last show for the night. I'm going to be on Fault Lines in the morning with Garland Nixon. I'm going to be on By Any Means Necessary later in the evening with Eugene and Sean Blackman. It's going to be a long day tomorrow. I'm getting my videos out the way now. But you can join us tomorrow. I'll be there. If you guys enjoy, please like, share, and of course, you can always support through PayPal or Patreon. Even $1 helps. The show is brought to you by you. Thanks all. Have a good night.